Alex Becker is the most influential YouTuber in the entire crypto space. He told us that he bought Sidus, and this happened. He then told us that he bought BCB, and this happened. And knowing that a guy has this much power with the words that he uses in crypto is extremely important, and we can capitalize and make the most of this. I'm not talking about just tracking one of his wallets, but I've gone away and I've found a whole network of wallets linked to Alex Becker, and I've discovered something really interesting and important. As we go through this video, I'm going to talk about how I did it, and I'm going to show you two projects, one of which I think is far more interesting than the other, that you need to know about. So hit that like button, and let's get into today's video. Now, first things first, what we need to understand is this. There's no mystery as to why these coins are pumping. You might be like, oh, Alex Becker is just really good at finding some amazing projects. Well, he might be. But ultimately, what's causing these pumps, I think you'll agree, is the fact that he is making a video that's being watched potentially by hundreds of thousands of people. And once we get into the bull market, maybe even millions of people who are ready to pull the trigger on anything that comes out of his mouth, which is fine. But the problem is with that, by the time you've heard those words, you're probably a bit slower than everyone else, and you might be getting in somewhere up the tree up here rather than getting in down here, like when Mr. Becker did. So how do we play the game as if Mr. Becker is our best buddy? And you're like, oh, he's going to go over to Arkham and I've already done this before. Yes, bear with me though, because there's actually something that you haven't done before and something that we need to do that's going to uncover something deeper and bigger and more interesting. ArkhamIntelligence.com, free website. All we need to do at the top is write, you guessed it, Alex Becker. And it brings up this wallet, which I assume if you're subscribed to this channel, you've probably seen before. Now, if you watched my video back in November or December, you would have seen me telling you that just randomly following this wallet was an extremely dangerous thing to do. Why? Because lots of people had worked out that you could do something really devious and sneaky. What you could do was go and buy yourself some piece of shit meme coin, okay? Fill your bag. Send like $5 worth of that meme coin to this wallet and watch all of the people like waiting who are getting the notification being like, Alex Becker's just paid $5 for a coin with a mouse on it. And then they just go and ape in. And then they realize that, you know, Alex Becker didn't actually buy that coin. Alex Becker's not going to mention it on a video. And then it all goes to shit. Because then you just get dumped on by someone who was smarter than you, unfortunately. But Alex Becker still uses these wallets. Now, if we come down on the right-hand side, we agree to the terms and conditions, obviously important. Then we can see all of the different transactions that have been going on. Starting to get a bit tasty, right? So, what's the difference between all these transactions? Well, people are still, you know, maybe watching that video I made and still trying their luck to send him, you know, 76 cents of one coin or a few dollars of this coin and that coin. But it's starting to get more interesting because some of these coins are getting some slightly larger volume in. Notably, dsync, okay? Dsync. Now, we look into his portfolio, you'll see that he doesn't have any dsync in there right now. And, you know, some of the coins in here, he's not really paying attention to. I'm sure you've got wallets like this that you're not really paying attention to. I know I've got a few, okay? And some of them, you can see down through the list, he's got paid. He talked about that one on a video he made the other day, and a few other bits and pieces. Still got BCB, interestingly. Bearing in mind, he's worth tens of millions of dollars, maybe even hundreds, who knows? This wallet's not really worth paying attention to. But he's still using it, okay, to send coins from one place to another. And what we can do is come down and track the transactions. What we want to see is some of the bigger trades. This one, 5 days ago, from Alex Becker, this one, he sent 46K to another wallet. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on the other wallet. And we're going to open it in another tab. We're then going to come down and see there's other ones. Uniswap, obviously, we're not interested in that. Coming down below, he's got 50K going out of this one, going into ZSS Becker. So that's 3 wallets so far. And then you can see there's some other big trades down here, but they're less interesting, right? Because these big trades are from the same wallet up here. So we've got 2 other wallets to look at. Now, first things first, what we can do is we can write down a couple of these coins. dsync, I've never heard of it. Might be worth having a look at. USDT, I believe it or not have heard of, and it's not the most exciting to look at. Sidus, etc., 2 months ago, who cares? Now what? Here we are, $110,000 in this account. Now, this is starting to get more interesting, right? Because some of these coins are not linked to an Alex Becker wallet. People don't know about this, but clearly this is going from Alex Becker to Alex Becker. How do I know? Because in this one, he literally bought Sidus. You could track it. He bought Sidus 2 days before he made a video about it. He then bought BCB 2 days before he made a video about it. And whether he bought it or whether those companies sent it to him, I don't really care. It has the same effect. So here we are, dsync. Here he's got 106K's worth of dsync. Interesting, not a lot else in here. We can then track various transactions between some different things, like these bigger transactions between this MetaMask and his other wallet. Now what we can see moving into the wallets is this. We then see that Alex Becker's now got another wallet here, $2.2 million, mainly held in Ethereum, but also 854K in dsync. Now, what you could do, if you are so inclined to do it, you can create the alert, fill out the details, something over, like, let's say, over 10K. You get the alert, Alex Becker's been making trades. Maybe that info never comes. But imagine if you got the nod 5 days ago to get into dsync, and in the last 5 days, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, dsync is pretty significantly up, right? So maybe you would have been able to make yourself 73% or something like that. Very straightforward, very easy. But I'm going to be honest. Right now, he's holding a bunch of dsync, and dsync's already gone up really, really hard recently. So I don't really care about dsync. But what I do care about is who else was getting into dsync over the last few days. So what I did was take dsync and drop it into Nansen. And as I look at dsync, I can see in the last 7 days it's up 407%. Fully diluted valuation of like $175 million. Now, yeah, fine, cool. I don't even know what dsync is by this point, and I don't care. Don't want to know right now, okay? It's not interesting to me. It's already up. While everyone's sitting there in the groups being like, oh, have you seen dsync? What's that? It's up really big. Who cares? You missed it. Let's get the next one. dsync. This is on Nansen, okay? Which is like a membership site. If you want to do this for free, then you can go across to use June.com and search for this quick token analyzer from Dom999. All you then need to do is make sure it says Ethereum, paste your contract address in here, select 30 days, and then just press enter. You can see it's already done it for Beam here. You can sum down through. You can find all the details. You can see all the wallets who've been holding big quantities of this. But, you know, I've taught you that before. It's straightforward. And let me know down below if you'd like some June tutorials, okay? Because there's loads of cool stuff on this platform. But right now, I want to bring you through to the next stage. Because I know you're just like, just get on with it, okay? I just want the tokens. Tell me the tokens. That's all I'm here for. But that will get you wrecked. And I'll tell you why in a little bit. Stick with me, okay? It's going to work. Come down through this list. You can see something interesting. These are all the balances. Look at some of these big balances, okay? Now you can go down through and click interesting one. You can see hovering over the top the value of some of these different balances, okay? Eventually I've come down to this one, which says token millionaire, okay, which is worth $3.8 million. Now coming here, I can see something quite interesting, okay? If I go to a month, I can see that this person has been a busy little bee recently and had rather an impressive end to the month of March. Now, as we look at this particular chart, you'll see that there's nothing going on until the 21st of March, and suddenly he's like, okay, I'm just going to put a few coins in just to have a play with. And suddenly, all of a sudden, he's got like millions of dollars in here. Now, because I'm not interested in dsync, because dsync's already gone up 400% in a week, GHX is kind of down. I know what GHX is. It's been running quite hot recently. I'm just going to go through this list. And then suddenly, you're going to be like, well, one's caught my eye. Has it caught your eye yet? And you'll be like, well, yeah, Blender caught my eye. And you're like, why has Blender caught your eye? Well, Blender caught my eye first because my editor told me about it last night. And then it popped up again. I saw it on Twitter. And we're going to deep dive now into Blender and work out if it's actually as good as people are saying it is right now. Because Blender right now, this guy has got 415K in Blender. Okay? It's a lot of money. So first things first, we're going to come across to a chart. See, it's fairly new launch. A fairly standard looking chart. Now, lots of you probably are asking, like, why does this happen on launch? Well, here's gaming, for example. Now, in the inner circle, which is linked down below, we managed to get a pre-sale for gaming, which we ran a couple of weeks ago, where people were able to buy in at just $0.0025. And on the day of launch, that token went to 0.05, which is a 20x. Since then, it started to come down a little, mainly because people started to take a few profits. And, you know, that's how it works. These are the VC, the early investors, which we have access to. Inner circle, link down below. We are now literally running 2 to 3 premium deals every single week where you can invest into the likes of gaming, We also recently invested in Portal, which did a 50x on launch. Now, not only will you be able to access pre-sales, but you'll also get access to a handful of carefully selected trading signals that are going out almost on a daily basis. There's a chat where you can find meme coins. One of the guys in there called Brett a few weeks ago, and lots of people in the group made huge money off it. There's info on airdrops, mining, and even some wallet tracking like we've just been doing. All of that's available down below, guys. $19.99 per month. Bit of a no-brainer, to be honest. So anyway, Blender, yeah, we're not going to get much information from this chart. It does look interesting, though, because it hasn't really been doing much, and it does give us a potential position to be able to get involved. If this is a new coin that I haven't heard much info on, and maybe some big whales are accumulating like we've just seen, it's something we want to know about. So let's deep dive it. Okay, coin market cap, Blender, down 4.3% on the day. Who cares? Market cap, $101 million. Not too bad, okay? Let's find out what it does. Circulating supply, self-reporting, not ideal. That means that I could basically, create the House of Crypto token and say that there's like millions in supply, but only there's like 3 or 4, or do the other way around or whatever. It's all a bit shady, doesn't need it. There's no need for it, okay? It's not ideal. But it's a new coin, so maybe after some time, it will all be leveled out. They just have to feed the information into CoinMarketCap. Not a red flag, let's just call it an amber flag. But more importantly, drawing attention to this chat on the right-hand side. Now, I know that there was a lot of idiots who post in these chats, okay? I'm not saying that everyone's an idiot, because occasionally I'll have a go in it as well. Maybe I am an idiot. But more importantly, when people are like really, really bullish on it, and being like, wow, this is amazing, this is going to go to the moon, always a little bit of a cause for concern. Also, people might bring out some, it's a scam, and maybe tell you why it should be a concern for you to go and maybe do some more research on. They're almost going to tell you the pros and cons in here, but just take them with a pinch of salt. So where next? Well, we come across to Twitter, and this is my Twitter, so make sure you give me a follow. The link is down below in the description, because I'm posting about different coins and things all the time. Also, this is the upcoming drop we've got for eToro within the inner circle, which I've just talked about, and also sharing various other bits and pieces that are worth paying attention to. But what we care about right now is Blender. Okay, project's just launched. $100 million market cap. Fine. 11.2 thousand followers. This is interesting, okay? It's got a fairly small following that we could potentially become a part of, and we could see it maybe grow. So, who's following it? Crypto Banter, big YouTube channel, who's almost as influential as good old Alex Becker, okay? Because again, Ran Nuna, massive following, is a big voice in crypto and followed quite religiously by a lot of people. So that means a shout out at any time for any of these individuals could be very bullish for a project like this. Starting to look positive, right? And then you're like, okay, elevate your AI rendering and simultaneous with Blender. Say goodbye to pricey centralized GPU farms and hello to scalable secure computing. And I'm like, I love a bit of deep in, okay? And you get me into that like deep in thing, and I'm thinking, well, Render has been doing really well, and Blender sounds a bit like Render and does a similar thing. This could be an interesting project, okay? So what? Well, let's find out. Is it growing? Let's get this little like copy on there. Let's go to tweetscout.io. You can see this is one I made earlier. Paste it in, hit enter, Blender, 11,000 followers. Now, what can we see? In the last week, it's gone from 9,000 followers to like 11,000 followers. It's starting to gain a bit of momentum. Important, okay? We can see there's like various followers, things are going on. Now, I've also seen people in my groups talking about this project. It seems to start to get some attention. Now, let's come down below and see what's going on with Blender. Introducing Blender's X1 state of the art. And we're literally going through this as I kind of look at it, right? I'm going to bring to your attention the things you must be looking at. Because there's people who could just look at what this project does so far and blindly post it out and be like, this looks like a great project. By the look of it, you're going to have one of these GPUs. You can buy them, put them in your house like a miner. You can contribute to decentralized GPU computing power, rendering services. Very important for GameFi, very important for AI and other bits and pieces. This is really interesting stuff. And bearing in mind it's a hardware thing, it could be more suitable for the average crypto person out there rather than kind of like the software nodes that you've seen for Aether, AIOZ, etc. This also has 132,000 views, which is very interesting. Now we come down below, we can see that compared to the Render Network, Bitenza, Akash, it's offering a bunch of different features and services. Hello, this is looking very promising, okay? On paper, looks very promising. Come down below and you can see that they attended the GTC, which was the big NVIDIA conference. Now, interesting, right? they attended the big NVIDIA conference. And here comes our first little red flag. If I look in these pictures, yeah, I can see the kind of side face of this man wearing a Blender t-shirt, but I don't know whether he's actually part of the team or whether he's just some random guy who's won a free t-shirt, or a guy who's just ruined his last t-shirt because he spilt his hot dog on it or something, and someone's just given him a t-shirt to wear that just says Blender on the back, and then they've snapped a picture and been like, yeah, we're doxed. But this team isn't doxed. They're making an effort to show that they are real people, but they're not doxed, which is a bit strange. Why wouldn't you dox yourself if you're prepared to take photos of the side of your face and things? Why not just dox yourself? Especially when we're talking about projects of this sort of scale and magnitude, why wouldn't you do it? So I go across the website. Very smart looking website, okay, to be honest. And you can see developer programs. You can see they're linked apparently with Intel, Microsoft, and NVIDIA. I see lots of people all the time telling me like, oh, this project's partnered with Google. And I'm like, well, where did you see that? And they're like, well, it was on the website. And I'm like, well, yeah, anyone can just like, put a post of pictures, 2 pictures together and just a statement and tell you that it's true. For example, this is one I've been making earlier, but, still is yet to kind of come into fruition. So again, take it with a pinch of salt. You're getting this information, but if someone's not prepared to dox themselves, this information doesn't mean much at all yet. Stick with me, okay? Come down below, find out what this project's all about, okay? Decentralized GPU. This is slightly different, and I like it because it means having something in your house where you can kind of earn rewards, passively as well, and talks about all the tech behind it. It's a very smart, slick-looking website, okay, with lots of good information. But I've also been to Fiverr.com before and built slick websites by paying someone $50 or $100 to build me one. And they all look really good. I've got into the white paper, and the white paper, says lots of useful and interesting stuff, and it does make a lot of sense what they're trying to do. And technically, it sounds brilliant, slightly different from what's already in the space, and has a unique selling point in there. This could well be an absolutely monstrous project. But still, one thing remains amiss. There is no team. I then come across to Twitter. I see Blender Network. They start just having these automatic posts for buys. This is something I don't really like on any particular thing because it's very like meme culture. It's not really necessary if you've got a top quality new project. And it's something that I have seen time and time again in scam coins designed to try and drive value. Now, I'm not saying by any means this is a scam coin, okay? If I see a fully doxed team, I'm going to ape, okay? Might even just have a little dabble now before I ape if there is actually a clear team. But I don't like these kind of like high pressure salesy kind of like Telegram ideas, things like this. It doesn't really kind of suit what I'm looking for. I then come to the chats and people are like, the NVIDIA of crypto. I'm like, what the F are you talking about? Come down through and everyone's like, yeah, it's on fire. They're tagging their mates. They're tagging Blender. It's all kind of like hypey, exciting stuff. This is not necessarily something you see on kind of like normal projects out there that have already been established. It's not necessarily a fully red flag, but it does kind of make me question it. But I'm willing to be proved wrong. I really want to be proved wrong on this, okay? But I'm saying this is why you should be cautious, okay? I know people are going to get angry who've invested in Blender and tell me it's the best thing ever. But until you've got a team who's prepared to come out there and tell us this is who we are, all of this stuff can be created without actually having to have the substance behind it. And the last thing we're going to do, we're just going to copy the contract. We're going to come across to bubblemaps.io, and then we're just going to search for a token, paste it in here. Bubblemaps.io is free, and it shows us some cool visuals, right? These purple dots are different wallets that hold lots of this token. And these are kind of connected wallets that have had transactions between them, okay? So transactions between a few different wallets. Now, this is actually a fairly healthy looking spread, okay? Nothing too scary to look at here. All looks fairly legit. If you saw a few massive bubbles in there, then that might be a little bit more concerning. Like, for example, if you look at Jasmy, but, no comment on that because I know people get really upset about it. But, all these like little like chains of all these connected wallets that, could dump on you at any minute and just completely destroy you. But, that's not for me to talk about. So do I invest in Blender? Well, it depends. Right now, I think that probably a lot of the smarter money, hopefully of which I will fit into that bracket right now, are thinking to themselves, I want to see a docs team. So what do? I set a Telegram and I wait for a fully docs team to emerge. And I think it probably will. It does look like they're kind of on the verge of doing it with the side of their face in photos and stuff. Maybe they're not aware yet of the importance of having a fully doxed team. Possibly as well, if I see one of these actually like produced as like an actual unit that actually works, that could also convince me, okay? So I've been rambling on. Let's go back then to Nansen and see if we can find a coin that might be of more interest. And there is one here that is actually of interest to me, okay? Because I've seen it popping up a few times already. Now, again, you can just hover over. You can see like what the value of these coins are. They've been pumping hard over the last few days. If they have, not really so interested in them. But to be honest, 76% up isn't too bad. 400% up is pretty bad. I don't want to touch it. DEAI. No, I love an AI coin. Can't resist. We can click it. We can see what's going on. We can see who the biggest holders are. I can see that it's got a 57 mil market cap. I can then see it's called 01 Labs. I can see down below that it is circulating supply is around 9%. It's kind of low, but it's fine because all of this is not self-reporting. This is all already legitimate. I can then look at a chart and look at DEAI. Now we can see again, had a reasonably big aggressive launch recently. Got exciting, put his pump in. Now is starting to trail off to the other side, creating a nice sort of triangle pattern here. This might be a good buying opportunity if this coin turns out to be something I'm interested in. My only minor concern is it's not really on any particularly decent exchanges. Only available in Uniswap, really, at 7 million in volume, which is good. But, you know, people don't always like using Uniswap because it's expensive and maybe a bit difficult. Now I can see 01 Labs might be a project that I probably should know about, followed by quite a lot of other major YouTubers and things like that. 47.3k followers. I've got questions in here being like, I can't see these balances in my MetaMask and how do I do that kind of thing, which is all like fairly legitimate, normal kind of questioning we can see. Great launch, congratulations. Can you update the circulating supply on DEX tools rather than just like to the moon? Okay, so that's quite cool. Important to see. Come across the website and then literally rinse and repeat what I've just been talking about, okay? Go and look, see if you can find more about the team. Go and look and see if you can find more about the website and what it's all really doing. Is it in a key niche, a key narrative, for example, in AI? Is it in real-world assets? Is it in GameFi? Is it going to be something that's actually used? Is it already being used? These are all very straightforward and simple things, okay? Lots of people out there can just mention the names of a coin on a video. But the problem is, many of them aren't going to even deep dive as deeply as we went in today when we looked at that Blender project. I want you to protect yourself. You need to go and understand what these projects are, because a few simple kind of like pictures and keywords can get people very excited and hyped up. And you've only got to have someone talk about it and you think, wow, that's going to the moon, and you ape in everything and you lose it all. No one's going to come and pick up the pieces. You need to be responsible for yourself, guys. Hopefully I've just taught you how to do it. Now in tomorrow's video, I might even take a deeper dive into the Z1 Labs. If it's decent enough, I'm going to go and find out now. And as well, I'm going to look into other coins and things that are available. Now, I've become conscious that recently, not quite to the level of Alex Becker, but more so than before, when I talk about certain small caps on these videos, they absolutely blow up way bigger than I kind of want. And therefore, it makes it difficult for me to talk about my favorite small cap coins. Therefore, we've set up a masterclass, which is coming up next week. If you want to get on that masterclass with me and Peter Voogd and find out about how to find various small cap coins and look at the small cap coins that I'm buying into right now, then join the link down below. It's an absolutely free masterclass. You can sign up to give yourself the unfair advantage through the link down below. And during that call, we will identify a handful of small 50 to 100x potential small cap altcoins. If you can't attend at the time, that's fine. Just register. You'll get the email and you can watch the replay. Guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, do me a favor, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, then subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.